This opening story here, very strange. It caught me, it struck me, and it got me asking questions, wondering what tomorrow holds. Tell me if I'm wrong here, Will. Is Samsung releasing a phone tomorrow? Or is that the next day?
It's the next day.
Okay, the next day. Yeah. So, are you sure about that? You had a little...
No.
Okay, so just, I guess because people are watching this tomorrow. So, it will be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. In that case, yeah. Thursday.
And this thing seems to have happened recently where Apple will arrange something in order to steal some thunder. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily what's going on here, but that's immediately what I thought when I read this headline. CBS this morning, Apple to make big announcement tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning meaning when the morning that you're watching this show.
Yeah. So Wednesday.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
This is very weird. So CBS this morning had an interview with Tim Cook. It's already taken place by the looks of it, but they've only shared a small portion of it. Now, he comes on and starts talking about the U.S. Capitol stuff, how upset he is, and she's asking him hard-hitting questions. What does he think the consequences should be, so on and so forth. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, this doesn't seem like the type of interview where there would be a big announcement.
Yeah.
But then, after they air that little sample clip, she goes back into her regular set. The interviewer, by the way, Gail King, goes back into her set and says, you know what? Tim Cook wasn't actually on the show to talk about that. He was there because there's a really big announcement. And it just so happened that the Capitol thing had happened, and I was allowed to ask extra questions, and that's the piece you just saw. So then I'm thinking, what kind of big announcement would you arrange to air a day before Samsung's launching its S21? What could they possibly be talking about? Because they've already done everything. All their products are already out there. What are you laughing about over there?
Well, they're going to announce the Apple car.
The Apple car, yeah. You want to talk about stealing thunder. They're like, we want to let the world know we are building the car. No, I mean, I don't think, if you were going to do that, you're not going to do it on CBS this morning. And actually what ends up happening, because I think she realized what she said as she was saying it and how that people were going to take it to the point you just took it. So here's her quote. We should say, he didn't sit and say, you know, I want to sit and talk to CBS about this. This was an interview that was scheduled because they have a big announcement that they want to announce tomorrow. Continues. It's not a new product, we should say. It's not a new product. It's something I think bigger and better than that. What? For a company like Apple, what's bigger and better? He's running for president.
Timmy?
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
Kind of busy. I think bigger and better than that. So we did an interview, and we did it at the Apple Store here, and he's at his headquarters, and he agreed to answer other questions, but that wasn't the purpose of the interview. What we're going to tell you tomorrow is very exciting. What? What are they going to tell me?
Do you have any ideas?
I think at this point, if I had to guess, I'd say she's amping up something that's really not that exciting, but because it's an exclusive, it's exciting for them at the network there at CBS, because they know that they're breaking whatever the announcement is and nobody else. But if it's not a new, I just don't, what does Apple do that is not a new product that is really big news? Like, is it going to be some environmental thing or some initiative to help something, or I don't know what it is, but I think the way in which people perceive Apple and what they would consider to be a big announcement is maybe not necessarily in line with the way that the terminology big announcement is being utilized in this particular dialogue.
Well, the fact that we're talking about it, we're kind of, maybe Tim Cook wants to steal the thunder.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where my head went. I was like, okay, maybe it's okay. So it's not a new product, but then why the day before the Galaxy S21 event? The day before, why not on Monday? right, of this week. I don't know. We have to wait and see if there's any alignment at all, if it does actually steal any thunder. Maybe it doesn't have to be all that crazy. In Apple, they just want to stay in the sphere of public consciousness prior to the Samsung event. So people are kind of like, just subconsciously, Apple is on their mind as they're watching the Samsung event. Or maybe there's no correlation at all. It's possible. We have to put that possibility out there as well.
And also CES is happening.
CES is happening.
And they're not known to make any splashes at CES. So maybe it's just,
they haven't gone to CES in a while, but I think they do sometimes say something during CES.
Yeah. And this might be it. Just a little announcement.
All right.
About the Apple car.
All right, man. I don't think it's Apple car. I'm betting against Apple car. I can't. Too far out, too major, and it is a product, so she'd be lying if that were the case. But anyway, a bizarre story, and now all of us are on the edge of our seat until tomorrow. Today's sponsor, LG, and the LG Gram laptop, more specifically, the crazy thin and light laptop. Now, you're going to show me something here today, and I really don't know what you're going to show me, Will. It's a
virtual tour from LG.
A virtual tour.
There it is.
And what are you going to do? You're gonna show me around the LG Gram in its virtual world right here?
Yeah. I mean, it has 3 sizes. The 17, 16, and 14-inch with 3 available colors as well.
I have the silver model. You went with the Snow White. Look at that. Look at you.
We don't see that often.
Now, of course, the thing to remind people about the Gram, the reason for the naming being the Gram is it's incredibly thin and light for its size. The 14-inch model, 2.2 pounds, 16 by 10 display. The 16-inch model, this is a 2-in-1. I have not tried that particular model. And the 17-inch model is the one that I used. I think it's the lightest 17-inch laptop at 2.98 pounds. It feels almost impossibly light for a laptop with that display size, 2560 by 1600 screen, 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which I like for productivity. And they also claim all-day battery life with an 80 watt-hour battery. It looks like they got some CES badges on there. Now, this whole virtual reality environment is something to do with CES, I'm guessing.
Yes. So you can go through it and you could check out the Gram as well as other products there. So yeah, it's a virtual experience that you can do at home.
Wow. Really do. Just remember, images are simulated and product designs may change.
Yes.
So they make it in 17, 16, and 14, the Gram, correct? Cool. Shout out to LG for sponsoring this episode. Also, I've used their product on the show, so I can speak from personal experience. And I think I may have an unboxing video as well, so you can go check that out.
Cool.
It's the LG Gram, one of the lightest laptops you can buy at a variety of different sizes. So other stuff coming out of CES. This one just hit my Twitter feed right before recording. Project Hazel from Razer has captured the imagination of many tech enthusiasts. Razer has had a face mask initiative since the whole pandemic thing started. They were helping to produce and ship and donate regular surgical masks. With this Project Hazel, they have obviously taken things to a crazy level with a full-out RGB respirator style, bringing in cool air and out hot air. Will, this thing has a speaker on it so people can hear what you're saying. You turn to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it's clear so they can see your lips moving. So they say it's got an emphasis on communication. But then they also say, apparently, I guess the filters are in the N95 region. And there's a silicon guard that goes above the nose. I'm wondering if you're going to get condensation in there. That's what I thought right away. Okay, for natural speech, unobtrusive silicon guard for natural speech. Wait, does this have a speaker in it? Did I make that part up? Let's be clear on this. The world's smartest mask, face the new normal with protection that's far from average. Introducing our prototype, highest degree of safety, best quality of life enhancements. So it's a surgical N95 respirator. So in addition
there's no
to
speakers?
What's that?
There's no speakers?
Did you find whether there were speakers or not?
I don't.
Oh, voice amp technology. Thanks to a built-in mic and amplifier combo, our patent-pending technology ensures your speech isn't muffled even when you're masked up, which is obviously a thing people don't like. Also, because it's a respirator and it's powered, some people, they don't like the buildup when they're wearing a regular mask. Well, this is actually going to actively bring in cool air and exhaust out the hot air. It has, active ventilation capable of filtering at least 95% of airborne particles. Auto sterilization function. It comes with a special charge case, which you can see right there at the end. This is going to use UV light, which kills bacteria and viruses. We've talked about these UV cleaning products in the past for various gadgets, for smartphones and stuff, but obviously for a mask like this, it's going to be disgusting after you wear it for a day. And any kind of reusable mask, I guess you kind of want to sterilize it at some point. What else? A low light mode. The mask's interior lights up automatically when it's dark, allowing you to express yourself clearly. That's their RGB component in there. It's going to light up your lips,
Okay.
so people can read them correctly. Inside the UV charge case, then the mask itself is going to charge up wirelessly. The filters are replaceable. It's supposed to be durable for daily use, comfortable with an airtight seal, optimized airflow to prevent buildup of CO2, and personalized because it has Razer Chroma built in. As of course, it has Razer Chroma in there.
Yes.
So you can customize the color of the LED on the inside, illuminating your lips from green to red to blue or whatever it is that you see fit. Now, I don't know. They don't say on the site they're going to make this thing. It's Project Hazel, and I've been to CES enough times to know that's what Razer does. They launch these projects, which may or may not become real products. Judging from the amount of attention this thing is getting on social media right now, I would say go ahead and make it. Probably. But it is quite a different market in the sense that now you're making all these claims about the particle filtration and the filter styles, and it's just not a market you're used to playing in if you're Razer. So I think you kind of want to be careful, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's if you're putting an N95 caliber respirator on the market. Also, I have no idea what you would charge for this. With all those features in there, you got to charge.
Yeah, wirelessly.
No. Charge money, I'm saying.
Yeah. I would say $350.
$350, yeah. It's a lot of money for a mask.
But it's reusable. You just have to buy the filters.
Is the world ready for this? I saw the reaction on social media, but I'm curious, do people actually put it on? It's important to note that respirator-style masks already exist. 3M makes them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they don't have any RGB functionality. And I know people feel weird wearing those and buying those because it's quite a contraption on your face. And this one is a bit sleeker, and maybe Razer putting their brand on it makes it feel more approachable to people. Like, I'm supposed to do this. It's okay to do this.
Yes.
It's really interesting. I'm curious to see if they actually follow through and make it. But it isn't actually the only project, the only concept that they showed off at CES. They also showed off Project Brooklyn. You know what? I just realized something. Project Hazel doesn't say concept on it, on the website.
Oh, so it's for real?
And Project Brooklyn, on the other hand, does say concept CES 2021. So I don't know. Take that for what it is. Maybe click the show more on YouTube and see if it says anything about...
It says concepts in the
It says concepts. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, you
address.
may actually like this concept, this project Brooklyn even better. This is a crazy game station setup with a retractable, what looks like a transparent OLED display which curves around you and then hides in the back of the chair, and it ejects like a scorpion's tail, unravels, 60-inch full surround OLED display. There's a tray, which we've seen something like this on other gaming chairs in the past for your keyboard and mouse. Carbon fiber bucket seat. I think the seat itself is also going to rumble with the action of the gameplay. There's a subwoofer or something in it. You've also got the Razer Chroma RGB stuff in there. Now, we have seen the emergence of these specialty gaming chairs, these wild designs. In fact, we have a new video coming up shortly on one of those designs. But they are a bit bulky, Will. They do take up a lot of space. And most people's environments are just not going to be capable of housing some of those things. This one, this Project Brooklyn, the way that they're showing it off makes it seem a little bit more feasible for the average person because it all packs up into something that's the format of just a regular chair, an office chair, gaming chair. Probably the most curious component in here is that 60-inch rollout display, because you need the flexible OLED and it looks somewhat transparent. And I start getting nervous about the mechanical aspect and the number of times you can bring it in and out. I just start getting real nervous, Will.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not that nervous, but
yeah,
that seems like a thing that we're really not quite there. All the other things, of course, I can see it, I can imagine it, but I guess it wouldn't be a concept if it was something that was easy to achieve in the short term. I like the way of thinking, though, of how can we take something that truly just doesn't fit into the average home, like a gaming setup, and have it all pack itself away neatly instead of having this giant monitor, kind of like the one you're using right there.
Yeah.
In front of you at all times, even when it's turned off. This is a way to achieve that. Modular 4D armrests, compact collapsible table tucked into its 4D armrests, allowing you to switch easily between PC gaming with a mouse and keyboard and console gaming if you want to just stash that away and use a controller. HyperSense technology is built around the chair's framework to transmit the most sensitive tactile feedback with zero latency. That's a kind of a haptic technology. The seat is carbon fiber, which I'm not sure why that's important. I don't think you necessarily need a lightweight seat, but
it sounds cool.
It sounds cool and it doesn't hurt. The chroma is all over the thing from the base to the chair itself. And I like this idea. I've said this in the past, Will. I like the idea of sharing concepts to get people excited about your brand in the same way that car manufacturers get involved in concept cars to get people interested in the future and optimistic about what's possible. It would be fun to work on these projects if you worked at these companies, if they said, you know what, carte blanche. You know what that means?
No, I've heard of that term.
Go ahead, take a shot at it. No, take a shot, Will. Don't look it up. Take a shot.
Complete freedom to act as one wishes or thinks best.
Yeah. It's like a blank check.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Blank check.
Right.
Blank check. If you give your design team the opportunity to think like this, it keeps things fresh inside the place. You think that there's unlimited potential and possibilities and it's worthwhile and your creativity can flourish. It's fun for everyone. It's fun for the companies. Some people might get upset. They'd be like, but these things never come to life. Sometimes they do. You know, I made a video on my new car, the Taycan, which is a lot like the concept. It's not exactly like the concept, but it's a lot like the concept. And there's other examples when things like that take place and people had a low expectation for whether or not it could actually be delivered. And then it does. And it's a very exciting experience to see anything close to a concept come to life. Like, imagine they actually made those wheels. Like in the concept, those wheels look futuristic, and you're thinking, okay, they'll never put that on an actual car. And then they put those wheels on the car.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think Razer should keep doing what they're doing, keep doing these concepts. I find it enjoyable, and I'm not upset if they don't necessarily get around to making it if there's no business model to support it. Of the two, probably the mask is more feasible in the short term. Let's talk about WhatsApp. Holy WhatsApp, Will.
Yeah.
It's out of control, really. We had two stories on a recent episode, one of which was talking about how the stuff was leaking onto the Google search, and then one of which was talking about whether or not people were sticking around or if people were leaving. And I've been really curious to know about people leaving. I've even asked the audience, like, are you leaving? Have you left? What's your plan? And what is that number? Like, just try to get a rough idea. I think it's significant, and I'll tell you why. Because the damage control is now in full effect. And WhatsApp and Facebook is actually responding, saying, please don't go.
Well, are they going to...
It sounds like a soul song, like a Motown. Please, please don't go.
Start doing a
Yeah,
little
please, or the blues
shimmy.
or something. Yeah, please don't go.
Yeah.
Please don't go. Anyway, people are going, obviously, because you wouldn't ask them to please not go if they weren't going. So they issued new information clarifying those privacy policy changes. At first they said, it's just for the way you interact with businesses on the platform. And people were like, no. I read the fine print.
Yeah.
And people did read the fine print. So WhatsApp went to Twitter to address the rumors. Funny is that? To be 100% clear, here's the quote. We want to be clear that the policy update does not affect the privacy of your messages with friends or family in any way. Instead, this update includes changes related to messaging a business on WhatsApp, which is optional and provides further transparency about how we collect and use data. All right, that's the message. But people are not necessarily satisfied with it. Actually, they even put an infograph, Will. You're in full damage control when you put together the infograph.
Yeah.
I feel bad for whoever had to do that. You know how I said those concepts are fun things to work on? There is nothing fun about making this infograph. Someone busts into your office, they're like, damage control.
Yeah.
Quick, infograph, go into action. And you're like,
I wish I was on the Razer team making concepts.
Exactly. You start sending a resume over to Razer if you get tasked with this. So they put this infograph. WhatsApp cannot see your private messages or hear your calls, and neither can Facebook. WhatsApp does not keep logs of who everyone is messaging or calling. No, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
WhatsApp cannot see your shared location, and neither can Facebook. WhatsApp groups remain private. You can set your messages to disappear, and you can download your data. We're WhatsApp. We're friendly. Remember the good old days?
Now it sounds like a real musical.
Anyway, people went in there and they said, no, WhatsApp, you can say whatever you want in your tweet, but your actual terms say otherwise. And so we're not going to fall for it. And listen to this, quoted from the terms. WhatsApp currently shares certain categories of information with Facebook companies. The information we share, this is in the terms, okay? This is not
Look
a tweet.
how long this is.
It's unbelievable.
That little cursor, the scroll bar is like this tiny little
Terms
thing.
of service, man.
Oh.
So this is from their terms. The information we share with the other Facebook companies includes your account registration information, such as your phone number, transaction data, service-related information, information on how you interact with others, including businesses when using our services, mobile device information, your IP address, and may include other information identified in the privacy policy section entitled Information We Collect or obtained upon notice to you or based on your consent. So inside of their own terms, it says including businesses. It doesn't say just businesses. It says information on how you interact with others, including businesses. So it's both, others and businesses. So until that terminology changes inside the terms of service, people are going to look at it and say, well, you can kind of tweet whatever you want, but that's not what the terms are enabling you to do. You would have to actually change your activity and approach here for anyone to believe what you're tweeting. Because the whole reason for the uproar was in the terms of service. That's what would have to be modified. So anyway, the fact that they're putting that out there tells you that they are in some form of damage control, but also that they're not at the point where they're yet willing to modify those terms of service completely. Instead, it's just a few tweets for the time being. And that brings me to the next story. I told you I was curious about how many people were moving around their messaging. There's pretty much two places where a lot of the WhatsApp exodus has led. One place we've talked about a lot on the show already is Signal. Former founder of WhatsApp now has his own privacy-oriented messaging app, encrypted messaging app, which got the Elon Musk endorsement, which actually helped it to skyrocket. But I think this next one, Telegram, has equally kind of benefited. And it kept getting thrown in the mix as another option as people were shopping around for their next messaging app. Telegram sees a 25 million new user growth in 72 hours. Messaging app Telegram has seen a massive surge in new users, largely by those concerned about their privacy. So Telegram and Signal, kind of the same deal, targeting the same clientele. Telegram is actually a popular messenger in the crypto community. In fact, they tried to launch their own coin at one point and had difficulty, but popular for people who value their privacy, obviously. And we don't have the numbers for as far as Signal is concerned. This was something that Telegram's CEO shared on his own accord because they passed the milestone of 500 million monthly active users. And citing the rapid growth to get there, he also said, look, in the last 72 hours, we're talking about 25 million new users.
So Telegram and Signal are just high-fiving each other. They're loving it. They're they're sitting out there saying they got open arms.
Yeah. They're welcoming WhatsApp users with open arms. The new users on Telegram are spread across all parts of the world. 38% coming from Asia. You know how this goes. The WhatsApp users, to begin with, very popular de facto platform in places like India, we've talked about before, and other parts of Asia. 27% have come from Europe and 21% from Latin America. So the majority of this movement around WhatsApp, very international brand and product, as you're learning right now. Certain parts of the world, you say iMessage to them, like, what? What are you talking about? It's just WhatsApp. Relax. Certain parts of the world. Well, now that's obviously changing. Now it's going to be Signal. Now it's going to be Telegram. Of course, it's important to note WhatsApp, tremendous user base. Even if they were to lose 25 million users, they got a lot more. Why don't we look that up real quick? Number of WhatsApp users, because we'll subtract the 25 million, though I do think Signal probably received more new signups, but we're talking about 304. Oh, and that's in India. 99 million in Brazil. This is leading countries with the most WhatsApp users. You could click that. That would work for us. All right, never mind. Yeah, you might as well click that. Here we go. So India has 340 million users. Brazil has 99 million WhatsApp users. The States is 70 million. Indonesia 60. Can we quickly, roughly add that up? I mean, it looks like a billion users, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks pretty close to a billion users.
Yeah.
Which is insane. 440, 500. Yeah, it's very close to a billion users. So 25 million, they're like, go ahead, get at it. No, they're not. They're definitely not. But
just for Telegram.
That's just for Telegram. Signal may have taken 100 million users.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy thought to think. But yeah, there's more to come. If this story continues, if it keeps steaming along, and people remain upset at those terms, and those terms don't change, that number could get bigger. And WhatsApp certainly has an enormous number that they could lose in this particular transaction. I don't think Facebook will let that happen. They're probably going to stop the bleeding at some point. Remember yesterday we were talking about that rolling device, the LG rolling smartphone using flexible OLED in a different way from what we've seen? Well, it was a bit strange in that video. You could tell that the video itself was CG'd onto the screen of the rolling device. So we had some questions ourselves around how feasible it was in the short term. Are they prepared to make it? Can they make it right now? Or is this like a one-off for their CES event to get the wheels turning and that's it? People really like the first frame of that clip, by the way. The MeUndies portion. I saw a couple comments about that. Out of context, you're just like,
It's like a little flash.
Yeah, you're just like, all right. Anyway, so we have a new development there. LG is actually going to release this device in partnership with BOE, actually, the Chinese manufacturer of displays. They have teamed up to actually deliver this product and to deliver this product sooner than many may have expected. The quote here, see if I can find it. Our management wanted to show that it is a real product, as there were many rumors around the rollable phone, said Ken Hong, spokesman for LG. As it is released at CES 2021, I can tell that it will be launched this year.
Wow.
2021.
Huh.
So that's going to be cool. We're going to need to get our hands on that, hopefully.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we could reach out to LG and see about it because I can't wait to play around with it. As far as working with BOE, BOE has supplied OLED displays to Huawei in the past. And since late last year, has been starting to supply a small amount of displays to Apple for iPhones. If they're meeting the criteria, you know they have that strict criteria for what they're looking for. And LG has decided to partner with them for whatever reason. I guess there's some sort of an advantage there. The rollable display is coming at a time where LG could use it in the smartphone market. They don't command an enormous share, and they've been taking their shots through products like the LG Wing, which we featured here on the channel. This one might be even better. To me, this might even be more science fiction, the rolling display. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah.
Here's some more good news for LG coming out of CES. How about for their 2021 TVs? They just put Google Stadia and GeForce Now right in the TV.
Awesome. That's
Whoa!
a great move. Well, yeah.
Never saw you like that before, Will.
I mean, we were talking about Stadia with Cyberpunk and how it was actually playable. Like, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just running GPUs.
Isn't there
It's PC.
something cool about the idea of no hardware? Just a
Yeah.
controller.
Yeah.
You're just on the couch. It's all in your TV, and you just have a controller. That's all you have to charge.
Fans aren't running.
No, everything is off-site, server room somewhere, big GPUs.
Yes.
And you're just seeing the video as if it were Netflix, but really it's a, what do they call it, AAA title?
Yeah.
Really, it's a AAA title.
Yeah, you're right. It's,
They use the AAA for other things too, right? I think for beef, AAA beef.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of a nice streamlined approach. I don't know what the console crowd thinks of it. Obviously, many people just recently picked up a PlayStation 5. But certainly for the TV makers, it's a huge opportunity to keep people inside of your OS, to keep people inside of your experience that you have some control over instead of having somebody plug some other thing into your TV to bypass your own OS. I also like the fact that they just made it work with both platforms. It's not just Stadia. They're showing love to GeForce Now as well, giving the customer more options on on what they want to use. So Stadia is expected to be available in the second half of the year in the 2021 lineup of OLED, QNED, and NanoCell TVs. And then GeForce Now will come sometime later. So what I'm trying to tell you here, people, you do not need any type of Google dongle to make this work. This is baked in. It's right inside the TV. And the other good part here is it comes alongside their new approach to game optimization, which has taken a pretty strong stance on things like refresh and input lag, which TVs historically have had issues with. So you combine that with a tight working relationship with the game streaming platforms, and they can figure out the optimal lack of lag scenario, which is what some people might be concerned with when you're hooking a controller up something like this. They could control the experience to a certain degree, or at least test for it to provide that optimal experience. Oh, and other good news, Stadia will also come to 2020 LG TVs later this year. So those will get a software update with Stadia in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I mean, you don't even need the controller. Did you mention that?
No, I didn't mention that. I just assumed you would want it.
Yeah. But would it work with like a, a DualSense controller or like an Xbox controller?
That's a great question. I presume it would.
Yeah.
I presume it would. I'm sure we'll find out more as it actually launches, but this is huge. This is good news for Stadia.
Yeah.
In its mission to become the Netflix of gaming, to be baked into TVs. That was a huge thing for Netflix. Once Netflix was in every TV you can buy, people were like, I don't know, there's a Netflix button on my remote. Now imagine a Stadia button right there.
It's also the future.
It feels like it. I know people get upset because they're like, I need to be gaming in 4K at 120 and everything else. And, fair enough. But for the masses,
ease of use,
just hook it up and go. It's definitely interesting. Speaking of gaming, game consoles, we have a new Xbox wireless controller in Pulse Red. So they got to launch like 1,000 different colors now that they have a slightly new controller. It's not new, as you know, but it's slightly new for the Series S and X. You have an extra button there on the front of it. And, we've detailed its very slight differences, but because it is new, you have to come out with some new color options. In November, they had 3 new colors: carbon black, robot white, and shock blue. Today, it is pulse red with a vivid fiery red top case and crisp white back case. The new pulse red controller brings the same energy and equally striking color as the shock blue. Matte black triggers, bumpers, and a hybrid D-pad reduce slip against sweaty fingers and thumbs for greater control. Dynamic latency input delivers controller inputs more frequently to your Xbox Series X or S for a more responsive gaming experience and seemingly instantaneous action. They didn't pay me for that.
Sounds great.
They didn't pay me for that. Really, it's a red controller. Many are excited, though, because of this particular color scheme. This color scheme, the black and red color scheme, always has fans, and then they added a little white in it as well. It's actually kind of a Team Canada vibe to it.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah, it's a very Canadian feeling. We may have to pick it up. You can pick up the new Pulse Red Xbox controller starting February 9th in most Xbox markets and starting tomorrow in China. They were trying to do the China thing with the red.
For Chinese New Year?
Yeah, when is that?
Mid-February.
Yeah, that's what's going on. They got to get this out before Chinese New Year. That's what's going on. Come on, Will.
Yeah.
February 12th.
Good on them.
February 12th. So it comes out in the world February 9th, and it gets an earlier start in China before that. Chinese New Year or Team Canada, whichever way you want to see it. It's a cool setup for colors. Now, speaking of the Xbox controller, our friends over at OtterBox, famous for making phone cases, has decided it's time to make gaming accessories as they branch out here, and they want you to put a case on your controller. And I'm not just talking about a travel case. I'm talking about a permanent case with better grips and enhanced durability that you're going to keep on there, I think, all the time, but also as you transport, bring it to different places. And most importantly, Will, when you're using the xCloud game streaming. So we talk about game streaming when we're talking about LG, but what about the mobile game streaming where you have your phone clamped to your controller and you take it out the house in public? Well, your controller, it was kind of designed to stay at home. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not like it's going to explode because you're using it out on a park bench. But now that you take it out of the house, you start to, maybe you want to put a little protection on it. And that's where this case comes in. And it's part of a series of accessories, including a new clamp, so you can actually mount your phone for those xCloud type of... By the way, the Microsoft branding, I don't want to go into it again, but as far as Game Pass and xCloud, and they're going up against Stadia and NVIDIA's product, which GeForce Now.
And probably Amazon too, right? They have a streaming service that's coming up.
They have a game streaming service.
Yeah.
I wish it was not xCloud. Anyways, maybe they'll change it at some point. But So you picture this, Will. I'm going to paint a picture for you.
Sure.
You have the Xbox controller, the latest controller. You have the OtterBox case with the grips and everything on it, very substantial. You have the clamp for your smartphone, and then you have your xCloud. Are we satisfied?
I'm ready to take on the world.
There you go. I'm glad you're on board.
Yes.
I'm glad you allowed me to paint that picture. So it's going to be $40.
Okay.
Comes in 3 color schemes, light gray, dark gray, and purple, with green piping that glows in the dark. It's Xbox after all. They're also going to sell $30 mobile gaming clip for your controller, and that thing is adjustable but not spring-loaded. It also folds flat. And then there's an exterior case, carrying case you can get as well, which is $45, which is kind of, it looks like a case you would carry headphones in, except it's designed for your Xbox controller. You can pack it all in there together. Actually, if you look at the, oh, wow, that's cool. It also charges inside the case, kind of like the Xbox Elite controller, and offers a little stand so you can prop up your phone to play on it on top of the case. Plus, the clamp sits in there and fits in there as well. This is kind of, no, I don't know, Will.
Yeah,
is this
it's
cool?
A nice little package.
I don't know, Will. Is this cool?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Right,
You're having fun.
Will says it's cool,
With
and
this?
it's cool. As far as cases go, you got this other company you might have heard of. Now, this isn't a case, but they have done cases. PopSockets. These are the things that go in the back of your phone, supposed to enhance your grip for the power users who have the phone ready to go at all times. Those that have the big phones as well, they tend to like these PopSockets. It pops out. It goes between your index and middle finger, and you just carry it around like that. I'm explaining PopSockets to you.
You are, yeah.
Well, the way that PopSockets have worked up until now is with a little bit of adhesive. It'd be like a sticky 3M type adhesive that would go onto the back of your device or case. In fact, people have sent me pictures of their own later case. That's this. Actually, I switched, by the way, to the blue color. Did you even know that, Will?
No, I didn't. I couldn't see.
I switched to the Willy Blue.
Good job.
And I'm a big fan so far.
Nice.
And it has a different texture, which is quite satisfying and addictive to touch.
Yeah,
Much like yourself.
I touch it all the time.
Much like yourself, really do. Anyway, I've seen people, they send me tweets where they just stick a pop socket on the back, and it works perfectly fine. And people prefer, in some cases, to put it on their case because then they're not so worried about damaging or having residue left on the phone. Well, anyway, since we now have MagSafe on the iPhone 12, there's now a MagSafe-compatible pop socket, which they're calling a pop grip. And that's what you're looking at in this particular photo. So no adhesive necessary. It's going to use the magnet to attach the pop socket. Now, the only downside that strikes me right away, I love the fact you can remove it. It's not permanent like an adhesive, but you have a much bigger platform for it to stick there. You see that big piece now? It's not just the pop socket itself. Instead, it's this platform, which is about twice the size of the actual pop socket. But anyway, I think many will go for it anyways because they get to stay away from the adhesives and utilize their fancy new magnet. Pop Grip for MagSafe will launch spring 2021. They have a bunch of other accessories coming out as well, including a pop wallet, pop mount. This MagSafe stuff has just, it has created this huge opportunity for the accessory makers to put out 1,000 things compatible with the magnets. The people are into the magnets.
Highly customizable, too.
Highly customizable. GM has been teasing their new upcoming electric vehicles. You've seen this story, the way you did a slow nod.
I did, yeah.
You saw this story.
Very impressive. It just looks really nice.
This is really cool. So I'm actually excited for these 2 new models they're putting out. They have the Lyric and the Celestiq or Celestiq.
Yeah.
Anyway, these are their new EV models, and it's kind of like from the ground up type of thing. Big investment into EVs, and these are supposed to be very luxurious vehicles. Like we're in a whole new era as far as GM is concerned. That's what I'm being told. Anyway, the automaker themselves, they describe the Celestiq as an ultra luxury, fully electric show car. And we don't know everything about these at this point. I mean, we've obviously seen teasers and things like that, but they just showed off a new feature, the full glass roof on the Celestiq. And it's a panoramic roof that takes things to another level with modularly adjustable quadrants. So it has a 4-quadrant setup, and each user in one of the 4 vehicle quadrants can select what they want the glass roof to do. If they want it to be dim, so they want to sort of close it off, kind of how a cover would cover up, but not. It's all digital and inside of the glass itself. And it's in these cool futuristic looking lines. So you can see in this particular video clip, the driver is blacking out their section, where somebody in the back right seat who wants the light to come through can just leave their glass portion open. It's kind of like an on-demand tint.
Yes. Very,
4-quadrant
impressive.
suspended particle device smart glass. Allows each occupant to set their own level of transparency, and the tint of the glass will match the ambient lighting in the interior of the cabin. These are wild ideas. Very luxurious and interesting stuff. It's not the only thing they showed off. Obviously, they're also talking about their upcoming enormous displays, 33-inch LED infotainment display that'll be in the Lyriq. It's going to be curved, and it has to come out, and the Celestiq is a similar one. It has to come out and compete against the likes of Mercedes-Benz. We showed their upcoming display in the EQS. It's the display wars. It's the infotainment wars. It's really the interior of the car wars.
Yeah. That matters. It's just as much.
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. As people start to imagine this autonomous future, everybody wants their cars to be limousines, man.
Yeah.
They want them to be
so cool.
the ultimate comfort zone. The Cadillac Celestiq is going to include Super Cruise, which is GM's hands-free advanced driver assist system. So keep that in mind. Oh, you're going to like this one, Will. How about a smart garage door, or a smart door from a company famous for making garage doors, a smart pet door for $3,000. You going to go for that or what? Okay, it's not cheap. I agree. It's not cheap, but I see the look you're giving me right now.
Yeah.
You're giving me a look like, Lou, why are you bringing this to me right now? Don't show me something like this, $3,000 pet door.
Yeah.
But it's pretty smart.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. So if you
got
go
me on smart.
Okay, so you start to scroll down and you get
door.
upset at first. You see the dog go through, you think, oh God, imagine how spoiled this dog is. He's got a $3,000 door. Then you scroll down a little bit more, and a little bit more than that. And you see the diary of the dog, how many times they go outside and for how long and everything else. And now you're very upset. You're like, hey, this dog has a better life than I do. But then you go check the video. And this is what happened to me. This is the path that I went down. And I checked the video. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what, man? They might have something here. Now, maybe 3Gs is just a little crazy, but they might have something here. So pause it. Pause it right now. By the way, the dog in the video, that dog you just saw, his name's Otis as well.
Really? How do you know?
Because I watched the video.
Oh.
And the audio. The guy. So first off, the door has a camera facing the dog. The dog is wearing a tag on his collar, which activates the camera and sends a notification to the smartphone when the dog approaches the door. The guy can then talk to the dog via speaker by activating it on the smartphone. And once he verifies the dog's actually standing there and needs to go outside, he can hit a button, open the motorized door so the dog can go out, go pee, do whatever, spend some time in the backyard. And that guy can stay at the bar where he was with his pals. He doesn't have to go home to let the dog out.
Right.
And then the same thing goes when the dog has to get back in. There's a camera. He can look outside to see his backyard to make sure everything is fine and the dog's just playing around. So he's just watching the dog. He's having his beverage.
Yeah.
He sees the activity. Go ahead, Will. Let us have it. What do you got? What do you got for us? Go ahead.
I mean, this is probably the best use case for this I mean, this video.
I mean, what if you wake up in the morning, dog has to go out, but you need to catch 15 minutes of extra sleep? You just grab your phone beside you, crack open the door.
Listen, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just really expensive, you know? I mean, I'm not going to buy a dog door
No,
for
I
$3
know.
grand.
No, I know. And you got to install it. You got to install it and everything else. But,
you know,
I don't know. I might go for it. What can I say?
Yeah, why not?
I might go for it. I might have to be that guy in the bar at some point in my life. The guy at the bar right there.
Yeah. Just opening doors for your dog
remotely
while you're at the bar.
You know, I don't know if it's going to work seamlessly like that. I mean, there's could be issues. But a lot of people have that problem, right? They leave the house and they don't know what to do about the dog.
There's definitely anxiety there.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know about that.
I hear you.
All right. Other high-tech stuff that you'll never buy, Will. How about an ice cream machine at home that uses pods like a Keurig system? Ice cream pods. So you make your own fresh ice cream, soft serve.
Now this I can get behind.
Oh, you don't pick that one up for your same 3Gs. I actually don't know if this one is 3Gs or not.
I'll buy it for 50 Gs.
I don't think they actually put a price on this one, but the idea is pretty much what it sounds like. Everyone's trying to figure out how to podify their thing. After the whole Keurig coffee thing kicked off, people were like, well, can we do juice? Can we do cookies? Can we do... There was the tortilla one. I don't know if you remember that one. For fresh tortillas. Like, I don't know how many tortillas you're eating to do that.
It's in a pod?
It was some kind of an all-in-one machine where you would put the... Maybe you can find that, actually. I don't know. I remember that. I definitely remember the juice one as well. I don't think that one took off either. The first at-home tortilla maker. That must be what I'm talking about. Flat EV. Oh, they're dead. Website's down.
Uh-oh.
Yikes. All right. Well, I'm sure you can get a picture. There was the Kickstarter. It's not that long ago. It was 2019. It's not quite a pod, the thing you slide in, but look at that machine. Imagine how serious you got to be about tortillas to keep that on the counter. That beast. Wow. It's incredible. Anyway, so people trying to figure out these kitchen machines, and everybody likes ice cream. So why not do it with ice cream? That's what they decided. The device is called ColdSnap. Takes pods filled with some ingredients, a list of ingredients. It turns it into soft serve ice cream on demand. The company also plans to eventually offer frozen yogurt pods, frozen coffee pods, frozen smoothie pods, and frozen healthy shake pods, and also slushy pods.
That's great.
You're happy about this one?
Anything with pods? So convenient.
You're happy with this one. You could do the frozen yogurt if you need to. Now, I got to store those pods, I guess. Wait a second.
Freezer?
Wait a second. Do I have to store those in the freezer? They just keep it next to the machine. Does the machine do the cooling on demand? He's just recycling the pod. I don't actually know if I need the pod to be in the freezer or not.
But for instant, it's not going to freeze it instantly, right?
Hey, man, maybe there's some cool action going. This reminds me of Yogan Frus. Have you ever had Yogan Frus?
Yeah.
They put the puck. It's like a puck in the machine. And it's actually kind of similar. Yogan Frus at home. ColdSnap. Delightfully frozen. I don't know. It's kind of exciting. But again, it's another machine you got to keep on the counter. That's the problem. Who's got these endless counters that never run out of space? I want to meet that person. This next one's going to blow your mind, Will, because you're always nagging me about the mysterious Bitcoin wallet that I haven't retrieved. I don't know how many Bitcoin I have in there, probably like 3 or something, which I know you're very upset about. But imagine I had a Bitcoin wallet that I couldn't access with 7,000 Bitcoin. Imagine
7,000.
that. Yeah, because that would have 7,002 exactly, which equates to $236 million at the time of this article.
Wow.
This guy has 2 more chances to guess his password before he's locked out of $236 million worth of Bitcoin. Can you imagine the stress? A stress level so high that you would have rather the whole thing never happened to you.
No, I want it to happen to me. I'm sure there's ways.
There's no ways, Will.
No?
Will,
It's over?
imagine living the rest of your life having misplaced, having forgotten your password to $236 million, and then having to live another, whatever you got left, 40 years.
Mm-hmm. What? 4
Or
years?
45.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds better.
Well, the average age is 80, right? Maybe a little bit above, plus minus. Are you upset about that, by the way? Jeez.
4 years.
Relax. You realize how old you are, right?
Well, I was hoping to live forever.
What are you going to do, 100 or something? Is that your plan?
Well, we'll see.
Wow. I never knew you had such plans for this intense longevity.
We'll see how the world shapes up.
How are you going to
in a
get there,
couple
though?
years.
What is your strategy? Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself?
CRISPR.
What's that?
CRISPR.
Oh, okay. All right.
Somehow.
Oh, okay. All right. I see where
genetic,
you're going with this. Anyway, this guy,
modification.
let's see what happened here. Stefan Thomas, a programmer in San Francisco, had 7,002 Bitcoin tucked away, currently worth $236 million, $250 million. He has no idea how to access it and can only guess 2 more passwords before being locked out forever. He's very upset, by the way. He has come out and said, this whole idea of being your own bank, let me put it this way. Do you make your own shoes? The reason we have banks is that we don't want to deal with all those things that banks do. Kind of right. Now, I know there's a lot of people be upset at this and they're like, dude, all you got to do, what do they call it? Cold wallet, cold storage, paper wallet. You just got to, all you got to do
Physical.
is, physically get a safe and I don't know, do something like that. But he is kind of right in the sense that once it's worth $236 million, it's a little bit stressful, even with access to it. If you just have it, I don't know. It's such a new idea that it's exclusively yours and that there's no body overseeing. I mean, that's what people love about Bitcoin as well, is that there's no banks involved and it's not inflationary currency and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But in this guy's case, he doesn't care about any of your reasons because he has effectively forgotten his password. There have been companies started up, experts that claim to have ways to try to recover this stuff. But for whatever reason, I guess that's not working out in this guy's case. He's got 2 more chances to unlock it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, man, let me ask you something.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a hypothetical right here. Here's your options. You can be Willy-do, live your life. None of this ever happens or takes place. Just your real life, the Willy-do life. Or you can be the same Willy-do who happened to forget his password to 236 million Bitcoin, but you only have 1 password attempt left. And you got to live every single day with that knowledge. Which one would you rather have? The potential to remember.
Can I manipulate it though?
How can you manipulate it?
Well, I want to put it out into the world. Like, listen, there's 236 million at stake. I'll give you half if you can crack it. Right?
No, you can't do that. You can't. And I'm not sure anybody could actually help you in that circumstance. I'm just saying it's just you and it's your own lonely experience.
Yeah.
Your own weird kind of guilt and the strange philosophical position you're in, knowing that this little mishap was worth 236 million in Bitcoin.
So you're saying maybe ignorance is bliss kind of situation? If it's the first,
it's just, isn't it weird how these things that we perceive as being the goal, like we see it as being the target. Like, for example, getting to $236 million. The amount of positive feeling on one side of having that potential is offset by the screw up. The screw up becomes a $236 million screw up.
Blunder, yeah.
That becomes weirdly your identity.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't even want to be that person. I'm not, you know what, this is very cruel what I'm saying right now. But
No, I hear you.
You can sense from the way he's commenting to the New York Times of being resentful to Bitcoin as a whole and being resentful to the idea and probably to a certain extent resentful towards himself. And that's a whole, we all make mistakes, by the way. It actually, the size of the mistake, extreme in this case, but there have been worse mistakes that have no monetary correlation at all. They could just be in your personal life. They could be... The point that I'm trying to make is, do you want one shot, one password shot, one forgotten long string password shot at $236 million, which you're likely to fail and never see again, and it's your fault, or no shot at all, and it never happened?
I would take the shot.
Damn.
But if I do and it fails, I mean, that's on me.
Well, keep in mind, in this scenario,
feel too
in
bad
this
about
scenario, you're the guy who misplaced the password to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I would have to live with the blunder.
I'm actually surprised that it doesn't affect you
more. Could be
more.
interpreted many ways. It could be a lot worse. Like if you have family members, that's just like, hey man, like you could have remembered your password, and there's a certain guilt associated with that too.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying you are the 236 million Bitcoin misplacer. Like
you're that guy.
You entered the room as that person, no matter what else you say. Your claim to fame is screwing up. No, I'm not. Dude, I'm not. I think it would honestly affect the way. And by the way, I don't necessarily believe this, and I wouldn't do that to somebody either.
Yeah.
Because we all make mistakes. Like that's living life is making mistakes. But what I'm trying to say is you can't. You know, people's perceptions, they just go for the headline. They just go for the quickest judgment possible. And when you enter the space and people talk about you and they say, oh, you know the story about him, like he misplaced 236 million Bitcoin and now he's working at Starbucks.
Is that how it goes?
No, I don't know you know what I'm saying though?
But if it's, you're saying in my scenario, working at Unbox Therapy, I mean,
no, you're not working here in that scenario.
I'm just fired.
Yeah, it's in your resume. You're once had 236 million in Bitcoin and forgot the password. I'm like, get out of here.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would choose.
No, honestly, I don't believe that whatsoever. I'm all for the moving on beyond past mistakes and not having any one mistake completely define an individual. That's the side of it that I'm on.
Right, yeah.
Just to be clear on that. I'm just saying, I think if I was granted the option of this weird like one password attempt, which I definitely don't know, or just never having done any of it in the first place, I would take never having done any of it in the first place.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be along for the ride, just like being an early investor and then just,
I hate that story. I just hate the story.
Okay. Well.
I misplaced 3 Bitcoin and it seems sort of upsetting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, I'm upset.
Do you see what I mean? Like you brought it up how many times? Here. Now imagine if I misplaced 236 million.
Well, it's still a story that
I know, but eventually as the person, it becomes torture to you for everyone to say, cool story.
Possibly, but it's also how you spin it too. You can interpret it in many different ways, It could be very negative. But at this point, you can just say, hey,
it's a horror story. It is it's some kind of Black Mirror thing. It's terrifying. Yeah. It is terrifying. The ridicule is terrifying to human beings. The potential for ridicule is because it comes alongside with isolation and
we don't know how it really feels to have 236 million kind of on hold that is potentially yours. we should try to get a hold of this guy and like have a talk with him and see what his
Have him on-
headspace is at.
All right, okay.
You know?
Well, shout out to him. I don't let it define you. I mean, we all do.
No.
We all do weird stuff. And actually, you know what? You're right, Will. Spin it. Become the guy that does it all over again. You know what I mean?
On Dogecoin.
That's how you can do it in such a way. I mean, I don't want to tell him he has to make $236 million, but you can spin it. You're right. There's a way to spin it.
Yeah, he might be living a good life.
I like optimism.
Yeah.
I like optimism. Speaking of optimism, Tesla is optimistic about selling some cars in India. They have taken a step towards that reality. We talked about this recently, how I guess it was the transport minister. He had been talking to newspapers since December saying, hey, Tesla's coming, but people didn't really know, didn't have the details of the specs or verification that it was happening. Anyway, so now they do. Tesla has moved a step closer to its launch. They just registered the company in the country and have regulatory filing. So Tesla Motors India and Energy Private Limited has been incorporated as of January 8th with its registered office in Bengaluru, which makes sense because that's the tech hub, tech area within India. And the filing shows 3 directors, including David Feinstein, who is currently a senior executive at Tesla. So I guess he'll be taking the reins as far as the India operation is concerned. There's still not an exact timeline, but I know people are excited about this. Many have reached out to me. Where is Tesla in India? What's going on with that? Well, it's actually moving a little bit closer now. And another area that Tesla is doing business, China, they obviously have their Gigafactory over there, and they're kind of taking an interesting approach to the Chinese market. And if you click over to the next slide, to the next tab, they're looking for a design chief in China to design a car specifically for the Chinese market that would then be available to the rest of the world. So you see the way it's worked up until this point, Tesla has designed cars in North America for North Americans that they just so happen to be interesting to people elsewhere. But that's the mindset that it's come from, being out there in San Francisco or Fremont. Now that they're doing so much business in China, their target was 500,000 units. They missed it by a little bit, but they're doing well in China. You sit there and you think, well, wait a minute. What would a car look like that was specifically for this market? Right. It might be different. It might be smaller. It might be cheaper. It might be even more efficient. It might have a longer range. It might have a different cargo layout. It might have a different passenger layout to meet the criteria of that audience that's there. So the rumor right now, the report, is that they're looking for this design chief to do this exact model. So we could see our very first Tesla model imagined from the ground up outside of the North American unit. And if successful in that market, would then become available in those other regions to see how it would do there.
Tesla dating. Still here.
What's that?
Nothing.
You're chuckling again over there, Will. So what do you think about that idea, a more regional focus for a sales push internationally?
Yeah, I think they have the infrastructure for it. Might as well just give it a shot.
Yeah, they've been searching for a China studio director since September, and they're continuing to do so as of December. Number of headhunters are using LinkedIn as a means of approaching candidates. Imagine that. They want to put up a full deal design studio. 2 sources have said that the China-specific model should be a lower-cost volume generator, such as a $25,000 electric car. That will be aggressive. And I know Elon has been really interested in the idea of a cheaper electric car, citing cost as being one of the things holding a lot of people back, and certainly internationally. You know, if you have a $25,000 car that you make in China, then and it's popular within that market, imagine the other markets around that region, other Asian markets, for example, that would be interested in that don't want to pick up. That's a nice looking Model 3, by the way.
Yeah.
So they're doing the black trim on the Model 3 now around the windows? Cool.
It seems like it. Maybe for just the performance model.
Oh, on the performance model. See, that's what I was hoping they would do. Are they doing the black trim around the windows for the Model S yet? Can you show me that? Because the chrome is just, it's over. It honestly looks like
No, see, now that
2010.
you pointed it out, like the conversation we had like months ago, I can't unsee it. The chrome.
The chrome, yeah. It should be optional, in my opinion, the chrome, but
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
it stays on no matter which one you put.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chrome stays on. I don't
But
know.
not for the
I
Model
guess
3.
some people like the chrome. Some people delete it. But you saw what the Model 3 just looked like with the black trim around the windows. I mean, it looks so much better. It looks like the way it's meant to be. It looks so much more modern. Actually, honestly, the Model 3 is my favorite Tesla probably for that reason. But anyway, so good luck for them on that. We have a new youngest billionaire in India. Yeah, that's this guy right here, Nikhil Kamath. He is also a chess champion. I watched this little clip on him here. He wasn't super into school, which is not a common thing in India. When I was there and I was meeting people, they were explaining to me how much studying they do and how dedicated they are to school. And I think in most circumstances, that's still the route to go. In his case, he took a sort of unusual path, became a chess champion, and then started a trading platform for stocks and basically a brokerage kind of, and kind of like a modern brokerage. Like you have your phone and you can quickly and easily move money around and purchase stocks, buy, sell, etc. Similar to Robinhood in the US. It's called Zerodha. And actually, that's a combination of two words, which they show in the video, but now I've totally blanked on it. The meaning of Zerodha. It's two words combined. Okay, a combination of zero and rodha, the Sanskrit word for barrier. So zero barriers. See that, Will?
Cool.
Anyway, there's a little clip there about his history and how he got to where he was going, and of course it's in finance, and of course it's in the stock market and trading, because as you know, that whole thing has just taken off because of COVID, and it turns out the Indian market's a lot like the market here in North America, where a lot of people have been at home making money with stocks, sitting around getting hyped, getting excited, and obviously there's been a lot of growth in India around all kinds of startups and all kinds of businesses, and individuals want to invest, and the more activity, the better off he does, and the more he climbs the rankings. But as of right now, he is India's youngest billionaire, 34 years old. Congrats, Nikhil Kamath.